Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's video. My name's Alya and I'm so glad you stopped by. Today we're talking about contact lenses versus glasses. So not necessarily which one's better, but just the differences between, and just having a bit of a chat about what I think as a clinician about contact lenses and when I recommend them and why. So please do stick around if that's something that interests you. It's an interesting topic, this one, because I guess, like, as an orthoptist, I'm sitting on a very different side of the question. If I were an optometrist, someone who actually prescribed and sold contact lenses and glasses, I guess my motivations would be slightly different. I actually do more with the problems that contacts, or maybe even glasses, bring up, rather than actually have the enjoyment of prescribing them in the first place. So it's a little bit of a tricky seat to be in. Sometimes you'll find orthoptists that will be just so completely against contact lenses because they've just seen so many problems that they can cause. I'm not one of them, though. I actually think that contact lenses have such a great place in the therapeutics space, right? Not just from an aesthetic point of view, not just from the point of view of I don't like how I look in glasses or whatever, and therefore I want to wear contact lenses. Not at all. There's actually quite a lot of therapeutic benefits that come from being able to use something that is in contact with the eye rather than sits quite a ways away from the actual eyeball. If you think about it, you know, glasses sit a couple of centimeters sometimes away from the eyeball. You have to allow for lashes, you have to allow for face anatomy, you have to allow for comfort, you have to allow for the fact that they're going to slip and move. The one thing we do have to sort of take into consideration, or the one thing I do feel I have to mention, is that everybody, no matter what kind of contact lens user you are, must own a pair of glasses. It's non-negotiable. They can be old, they can have a slightly incorrect script, but you have to have a pair that's going to get you from A to B should anything happen with your contact lenses. So let's start with why I love contact lenses, yeah? Why, as an orthoptist who often sees contact lens wearers only when things have gone wrong, as I mentioned, someone who sees contact lenses problems that can arise, and someone who sees contact lenses as a kind of interference in the clinical space, right? So if somebody comes in wearing contact lenses, they do have to come out before we can actually do anything. Sometimes we've actually asked people in advance to make sure that their contacts have been out for weeks before they come in for various reasons, for various tests or things that we need to see. But I'm the kind that will actually recommend contact lenses. I've handed out numerous business cards of optometrists who I feel would be able to prescribe the particular type of lens that I feel the patient needs, or at least find that particular lens for that particular need for the patient. And where they're really amazing is teenagers that have got a really advancing myopia. So let's say you've got a 14-year-old, they've just got a few centimeters on them, they're going through a bit of a growth spurt, and you need to get their eyes checked, and they're complaining that things are blurry again, my glasses are no good. What do? This is the kind of thing where you'll find that they'll suddenly have a big change, bit of a progression in their prescription, and you kind of want to know what can slow it down. Well, contact lenses is one of those things, and I'll explain why. So as I mentioned, glasses sit a little bit further away from the eye, which means that by the time the light bends, quite a few things have happened between the actual glass and the eye. And one of those things is minification. The reason this happens is the lenses are either concave or they're convex, so they're like this. The convex lenses are usually plus lenses and concave lenses are usually minus lenses. And minus lenses minify everything, which means that no matter how good your visual potential is, through that lens, especially we're talking about a higher prescription here, things are going to be a bit more challenging to see. And the whole theory of why kids become so short-sighted or so myopic is because there's hormones happening inside their eyes, encouraging them to see more, causing the eye to grow more, and resulting in a much worse prescription at the end of the day, or much higher prescription at the end of the day. So sometimes if you think that your child is responsible enough, this is the perfect moment to introduce contact lenses. Contact lenses are always nice and round like this. They have to follow the curvature of the eye. They do not minify or magnify anything. They keep the image pretty real to its original size. They don't change a thing to the viewer, which is rather fantastic because glasses always do. No matter how small a prescription it is, and no matter how perhaps unnoticeable it might be, you will always get a change to the actual size of what you're looking at through glasses. Because the contact doesn't do that, it'll mean that those hormones won't be going quite so crazy in changing the size of things. And the child's progression in their prescription might just slow down. I would always have a pair of glasses. I would practice very good hygiene. I would practice taking the lenses out, especially once their schoolwork and homework is done. Once it's time for, TV or whatever, they take those contacts out. They give their eyes a nice rest. Wearing glasses, even if that means that they're not going to get the best vision for a few hours, the actual eyeball can rest from having something sitting on top of it all day. I would recommend having really breathable lenses, so something that's going to have a lot of air and a lot of hydration be possible on the eyeball. You choose the most hygienic route for the child, but it does allow for that beautiful reality that they've probably never experienced. If they've got quite a progressive myopia, they're probably myopic most of their life that they can remember. So they'll really appreciate finally being able to see things as they are. The other place where contact lenses are really cool is ortho-K. So this is a particular type of contact lens that is used to reshape the eye so that it doesn't have a problem or doesn't have a prescription. So you wear them overnight, which is probably my one sort of reservation about them, but you wear them overnight, and when you wake up in the morning, you actually take them out and you spend your rest of your day without wearing anything, no glasses and no contacts. The way they work is they actually reshape the cornea overnight, and then when you take them out, the cornea remains misshapen, if you like, but that actually gives you the right prescription for a temporary amount of time. So it's almost like having laser eye correction surgery, but in a temporary form. So very, very cool technology, very sort of fun that they even came up with it, something like it at all. But where I love it is that if somebody's having a lot of trouble with wearing glasses and they're opting to not wear glasses or contacts, this is a really, really great solution. It's a fantastic thing to have as an option on the market. I love that it exists, if you know what I mean. I love the variability of the options. And this may be something that someone's got a little bit more time to fiddle with. The problem with contact lenses is you do have to take them out every night and put them in every morning. So this might be a little bit less labor intensive for someone if they're eligible, if they're suitable for the technology, because they can spend as much time as they want putting it in of an evening, and then they can just quite comfortably nick it out in the morning, obviously putting them away in a responsible way, but it's a bit quicker to take them out a lot of the time than to put them in, has been my experience with patients, what patients tell me. And it's just a bit of an option to people who have difficulty with time management with these things, because I think that the most important thing to remember is the hygiene behind it all. So if wearing contact lenses means you're not going to be hygienic with your eyes, you're going to somehow sacrifice the hygiene of your eyes, you're not going to wash the contact lens first, or you're not going to keep it in a solution, or you're not going to hydrate your eyes throughout the day using lubricants, then just don't use contact lenses. They're not for you, right? It's only if you're going to be very responsible with the hygiene aspect of contact lenses that they're a good idea. Okay, but where they're not a good idea, or why sometimes they're just not something I would recommend, and why a lot of orthoptists don't like them very much. The likelihood of having an eye infection for a contact lens wearer is dramatically higher. This is, of course, anecdotal. There are studies on it. I haven't really looked into it because it's just not necessarily where my field of interest lies. But the fact that contact lenses means touching your eye at least twice a day, once to put them in, once to take them out, no matter how well you washed your hands, that is an opportunity to introduce an infection. The fact that there is a piece of effectively plastic, a very high quality silicone, breathable plastic, but still sitting on your eyeballs, rubbing away at it all day long. Again, no matter how good the technology is now comparing to where it was before, there is the potential to do a little bit of damage to all those little stem cells that exist exactly where the contact lens sits, and have less protection and less recovery once you've taken the lens out. So it kind of introduces later life problems with dry eye, or with increased infection, or perhaps, I don't know, other things to do with the eyelids and the lid skin and things like that. Things like styes and whatever forming. Allergies is another one. The risks, there's just risks. They're not necessarily a reality for these people, but they're just risks that they need to be aware of. The other thing is that it is more to look after. You have to be really aware of the hygiene of your eye, the hydration of your eye as well. You've got to make sure that when you are a contact lens wearer that you're giving your eyes sufficient breaks and you are hydrating efficiently. This is something we all have to do, but I think the reality of it is a lot more so with contact lens wearers. You must have that backup pair of glasses, because if you were to get even the slightest little irritation or the slightest little infection, the first thing to do is remove that contact lens to give your eye an opportunity to recover. The actual contact lens itself, again, no matter how good the technology and the materials are now, actually can harbor all kinds of different germs. So that's why we're so onto you, if you're a contact lens wearer, about cleaning that lens before you put it into the eye, but also when you take it out. A lot of people just plonk it into some solution and think that's enough. No, you really need to give it a wash in your hand, then put it into solution. And then when you take it out, wash it in your hand first before you put it into your eye. That constant washing can stop any kind of proteins building up on the lens, and it means that the lens will have more longevity as well, so you'll be able to use it for longer, so it's an expense thing as well. The longer you make the lens last, the better it is on your hip pocket, but also the better it is or the kinder it is onto your eye. But even if you're the best at looking after your contact lenses, you always wash it, you always change your solution readily, you make sure everything's in date, you throw out your contact lens on time, you make sure you never fall asleep with them, you do all the things right, there is still sometimes a chance of that eye getting infected. Who knows, you might have had a cold or something, and that could have caused it to become a little bit red. You may have rubbed the eye, something blew into the eye. There's just a normal chance of infection like there is for everybody. In those situations, you really want to be ready for that and have a pair of glasses that are reasonably updated, at least not too ancient, that if you had to get in, behind the wheel of a car or something, you still had really good vision to be able to get you to at least your optometrist or your ophthalmologist to deal with the situation. A lot of the time, even the most updated glasses prescription will only give you minimum driving vision if you've got a high enough prescription. That is the reality for some myopes. And if that's the case, then make sure that you are actually updating and using your glasses fairly regularly, at least of an evening, so that you can at least be used to them should the time arrive to use them, for something important like driving. I really thought about talking about the different materials where contact lenses and glasses can be made from, and I kind of decided against it. And my biggest reason is that not everybody is suitable for everything. You may have heard of, say, silicone hydrogel. I'm a big fan, of course, of silicone hydrogel. I would hope that most people can wear silicone hydrogel because it breathes the best, and it's probably one of the better things for the actual eyeball, but that doesn't mean that that's the material that's best for you. This is where you really have to build up a very trusting relationship with your prescribing optometrist. They have to be able to pick a lens that isn't just made of the kind of coolest new material, right? It has to be a lens that's going to give you good sight, most important, but also is going to do the least amount of harm to the eye. Now, just because you get a really great new technology doesn't mean that that's going to be the one that's most suitable to your exact shape of eye or your exact prescription issue, etc., etc. This is something that you have to be able to have an open conversation with your treating optometrist to really come to a decision about. So you have to be comfortable to ask them for the latest and greatest thing. You have to trust that they have access to the latest and greatest thing. It has to be in your budget. It has to achieve the best vision. It has to be the most hygienic option. But also it has to be something that you are comfortable to discuss with them openly. A lot of people I see wear gas permeable lenses. They're hard, they're rigid lenses. The reason is that they can't wear a different and safer material. They can't. It won't achieve the vision that they require. It won't correct the problem they have. We see a lot of people with really, really high astigmatism. Contact lenses are not the greatest for that because they don't really sit on a very pointy eye. So astigmatism is about the shape of the eye, and neither glasses nor contact lenses are perfect in that scenario. So this is where hard contact lenses are the solution, because they can flatten the cornea to be much smoother. They can deal with this pointy eye much more readily, and they can be custom made. So, there are different sort of nuances about anything. Same thing with glasses. A pair of glasses that will come in a really good material, a really thin plastic, assuming of course your prescription requires that, can be very expensive. I remember, this is going back some years now, but the price jump between the second highest quality material in glasses to the most thin or the highest quality material was extreme. And unless you were like a -7 or -8, it didn't actually matter that much. And I could never really figure out what that price hike was all about. And the reality is, you know, it was just a rare material. It wasn't commonplace. It was expensive for the labs to store it, to have it in stock. So it wasn't worth having competitive pricing on. Simple as that. You know, and it was okay for most people to settle for a slightly thicker result because it didn't affect them that much. In fact, most people that wear glasses can go for the most boring standard stuff. That's why budget optometry does so well, because the vast majority don't need anything that special. The same goes for contact lenses. The vast majority will fit into some sort of comfortable box of that'll do. And that's where I talk about this relationship with your optometrist, because you really need to be able to discuss these things, because just because something might be suitable for you doesn't mean that that's what you may want or what might be best for your consciousness. You know, some people, you know, are more aware of things like wastage or budget or whatever your particular individual needs are. And so to have an optometrist that can understand that and be compassionate to that and they can cater to that, you're talking about a disposable thing. A contact lens at the end of the day is just going to be thrown out after either 2 weeks or a month or sometimes daily. And you've got to work out, you know, where you fit into the market, which is huge. There are so many products, so many companies, so many materials in play. You've got to have an optometrist that's going to be able to pick what's best for you without you having to become so incredibly educated and knowledgeable in the matter yourself. Same thing with glasses. You want to be able to have something that's going to give you comfort, give you, you know, decent price, give you a decent look, decent vision, without having to worry about the variabilities on the market. And when we get into things like multifocal or specialized lenses, Pandora's box again. So, you know, the fact that you can have a good relationship with your clinician is going to save you a lot of drama and a lot of everything. The other thing to remember with whether it be contact lenses or glasses, it's a new thing every time. Every time you get a new pair of specs or a new set of contacts, it takes a bit of learning and getting used to it. So one of the things I used to say a lot to patients when I used to work in an optometry practice is give it a chance. Glasses especially, even if you get the same prescription, a really similar frame and all the things, when it's a brand new lens, it's a brand new lens. It's not scratched, it's not stretched, it's not yours yet. It needs time to sort of be broken into. Contact lenses are a little bit different because they're a little bit more tailored to the eye, but it's the same idea. You just got to give it a chance to feel right. And if after a couple of days it doesn't, or a couple of weeks it doesn't, of course, report back, say, hey, still not it, let's reconsider. Sure, and it may take a few goes before we get it right. But it is important to have that really good open dialogue with your clinician. Right, lovelies, I hope that explains a little bit about the taboo around contact lenses. I do feel like I get a lot of questions, and when I say, yeah, sure, go for them, you know, speak to your optometrist about them, I would probably say that these would be the best solution for you. That a lot of patients look at me like, really? You don't mind contact lenses? You're the first one to ever say, okay. You know, I always thought that it was just a selling spiel no. They definitely have their place in the market. They definitely have therapeutic qualities. We use contact lenses for various things in the clinic as well, time to time. By all means, have a chat. It's very individual to the eye and to the patient, and you have to be eligible and suitable, and so do your eyes. And it has to make sense for you. I hope today's video was helpful. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I just get so many questions, so I felt that it was important to talk about it at some stage on the channel. If you haven't checked out Instagram yet, go ahead, check it out. There's going to be more updates coming up really soon. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead, press that big inviting red button, turn it gray. Gray is good. It means you're a part of this family, and we welcome you. Every weekend there is an eye look and eye care video going up talking about different eye concerns and creating a pretty eye look, or something to do with makeup concurrently with the eye talk. On the midweek, sometimes I'm able to upload some tutorials about wrapping or give you a bit of an update about something, and we call that the midweek wrap up, so look out for those. If you want to be notified when a video goes up, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out when those little extra midweek ones do go up. This week's one will be really interesting. It'll be talking a little bit about the upcoming festival of Passover, so definitely jump in if that's something that interests you. Wherever you are around the world, lovelies, I hope you're having an amazing time. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye!